Oren is an orange Sprunki with 2 antennae and a combed-down tuft of hair. He sports a pair of macaroni and cheeses-colored headphones. Oren makes the sound of a bass drum or kick with his mouth and moves his head to the beat. Raddy is a red Sprunki with 5 pointy red horns on his head. The 3 central horns are short and jut out from the front of his head, while the 2 larger horns are positioned on either side. He has a very slight frown, giving him an annoyed or irritated expression. Raddy bares his teeth, producing the sound of a snare drum. He moves his head downward while doing this, and his eyelids close slightly. Clukr has silver skin and an antenna with 2 hooks at the end. On his head is a silver symbol. He seems to be looking up at the symbol above him. The symbol on his head subtly bounces to the beat, while he stares up at it with his mouth slightly open. Funbot is a robot Sprunki with a silver body, and its neck appears to be segmented and golden. It wears a golden antenna similar to Simon and the same visor that Garnold wears. Funbot will move its mouth while moving its head to match the beat, moving its eyes to the left and right. Vineria appears as a green figure with 1 dark green horn and flowering vines on her head, resembling hair. The flowers in her vines are pink with yellow centers. She has dark green eyeshadow and carries a laid-back expression. Vineria shakes her head from side to side, creating a rattling sound with her wig. After 2 measures, she opens her mouth in a smile and looks around. Gray is a pale gray Sprunki with slightly darker gray, pointed ears, and he has black eyelids and eyebrows. He has a straight line for a mouth, and he also has 3 freckles on each cheek. He has ring-shaped pupils that are slightly duller compared to other characters, and his facial expression looks either bored or tired. Brud is a brown Sprunki with a gray bucket on the left side of his head. His face is derpy, and his pupils are positioned outward. Under the bucket, he has a spike on top of his head. His eyes are also very noticeably lazy. Brud simply shakes and moves his mouth. Garnold is seen in a gold suit with a gold and black visor. A cyan color appears on Garnold's visor when he starts singing, and he moves his head from side to side. Owakcx has lime skin and a frazzled expression. His pupils are of different sizes, with the right pupil being larger than the left. He has 5 tufts of hair sticking out from his head. His eyes shrink for a bit, and he opens his mouth, which reveals his teeth. His eyes shrink for a bit, and his mouth becomes a slit. Then they go back to their regular sizes, and he opens his mouth, which reveals his teeth. Sky is a cyan or sky blue Sprunki with circular bear-shaped ears and a cowlick. He is typically depicted with a calm and chill demeanor and a bright, cute, and heartwarming style. In these loops, Sky moves his head while changing his facial expressions and making sounds that sync with Gray. When he reaches his highest note, he appears to smile. Mr. Sun is depicted as a yellow circle featuring a face with 2 black eyes and a completely black, smiling mouth. Surrounding the circle are 8 orange triangles that represent the sun's rays. In these loops, Mr. Sun moves from left to right, pausing for a few seconds after each movement. This sequence repeats 4 times in both loops. Durple is a purple dragon characterized by 2 long, dark purple horns on his head and 2 dark purple fin-like ears on either side. When not playing, he maintains a neutral expression. Durple blinks and looks around for a few seconds before blowing air from the side of his mouth, producing a brief trumpet sound. Jevin appears as a blue figure with a dark blue robe. He's shown with an assumably tired or foreboding expression. He sticks out compared to the others, acting as a sort of foreshadowing for the horror mode. Jevin lowers his head as he sings, as well as lowering his eyelids. Mr. Fun Computer is a monitor that sits atop a wooden desk, with a plug attached to his back that leads to somewhere on the floor. A kid's rainbow propeller hat is atop the monitor. He has the ability to display text, pictures, and animations during his loops. He always capitalizes and increases the size of the word fun. Mr. Fun Computer changes his screen to match what he is currently saying, and at the end of the loop, he displays a face that reflects the words. Mr. Tree appears to be a cartoonish tree with bright green leaves and a brown trunk with a happy face. Mr. Tree will move his mouth and vibrate to the beat. His eyes will also either be longer or shorter. Simon is a yellow creature, characterized by 2 cone-shaped horns on either side of his head, 2 straight antennae, and a swept-up tuft of hair on top. He displays a calm expression with a slight smile. In these loops, Simon produces a square wave sound using his mouth, transitioning from an oo shape to an ah shape, depending on the note he is singing. He moves his head in sync with the sound, lowering his eyelids or widening his eyes. Tunner has tan, scaled skin, a calm expression, a brown cappy fedora, and 4 downward-facing sideburn-like ears on each side of his face. Wenda is a white cat with 2 tufts of fur on both of her cheeks and 2 long pointy ears on her head. She has hollowed-out pupils and eyelashes on both eyes. Pinki is a pink bunny-like Sprunki with a magenta bow on her head. She also has magenta eyelids. Pinki's voice is a feminine choir. She repeats the same note 3 times before going to a slightly deeper note on the 4th note, while her eyes go half-lidded, and another slightly deeper note on the 5th and last note. Her eyes are closed for this last note. He is a pitch-black Sprunki without a visible mouth, wearing a top hat that is the same color as his body and a white tie. His eyes are visible, but only the white part.